never before seen gameplay of Stalker 2.
Ooh,
Part
Stalker
of
2
Chornobyl.
time.
Please welcome game director Eugene Grigorovich. Eugene, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting.
No, honestly, it is so exciting. We've got it on the booth here at Gamescom. I've been able to get hands on. I'm so excited for you to take us through what you've brought with us today. But how's your first Gamescom?
The previous was a year ago when we bring our demo, which was shown just on the PC.
Yeah.
And today we are bringing another demo, which we launch on Xbox Series X. And from our experience, it's looking very good. And we are happy for what we bring.
I'll be playing
here,
it
and
day one.
we get the first impression from the players and the press. And for now, I'm happy from what they are telling us about the Xbox build.
Yeah, honestly, I got to have hands-on with it, and it is so much fun. Because what we're going to do as well is we're going to hop straight into the gameplay that you're going to talk us through. So anyone watching who's excited to see Stalker 2 for the first time, if they haven't already, can see what they're going to be getting their hands on. So what are you are we going to bring the gameplay up? So we've got it on our screens. So as we go, if you want to talk us through this gameplay, so we can know what we've got coming up.
Yeah. I'll take this part. So here the player is doing his first quest, and he got a scanner, a device. Player at this point doesn't know a lot about how it works and what it's for. He just gets information that it somehow recharged an artifacts that put it inside it. And that
It's gonna be fun, guys.
if it got successful,
Oh, I can't wait.
it's gonna bring
There's a 30-minute gameplay deep dive we're gonna cover
lot
for
of,
Stalker
let's
2 as
say,
well, so stay
money.
tuned for that.
Yeah.
We
maybe
might do that
something
today,
else.
if not
So
tomorrow.
at this point, player don't know what is the goal of the character, why he's doing it, and he's learning the story about your character also by doing this quest line.
Because this is actually the bit that they've got on the show floor here, isn't
Yes.
it? At the start of the game. Because I had so much fun. I get what you mean as well when you're just trying to discover what exactly it does, and the storyline sets that up. But what about the combat in the game as well?
God, I just ducked.
First fight here.
Yeah. So it's a group of bandits.
I'm already into it. I've just watched the
find
game
camp,
trailer and I heard
doing their
gunfire and I'm like, oh
stuff.
shit.
And then they saw that something happened, a wall was destroyed with a huge noise. They just turned up going to see what's happening and found you, a player, and
It's amazing as
So
well.
it's a
'Cause I found
cool
myself when
cover
I was playing
system.
this, I was like the flashlight turning on and off, and like you can also like lean around corners, can't you, to kind of like
Nice.
engage fights from like a bit of cover.
yeah, so it's very important in this game to have a proper tactics. You should hide a lot, you should use your medkits, you should survive grenades, because AI is very pushing and challenging.
Yeah.
They're trying to outcome you, to go from other side, and
By the way,
it's pretty
for anyone who
stressful,
has
so
never learned a
it's
second
first
language,
fight. It's very simple fight
I
against
love.
3 bandits.
I'm gonna
but,
give this guy.
as
Because
from
some
what we
people
can
will be out
see,
there making fun of
it's
him because he
often
doesn't
lead
speak
you
perfect
to
English.
several
Shut up.
classes.
I've done
it's very
keynote presentations in
unforgiving
Spanish,
as well.
and I sound
we
like
just see
this
as
when I
well,
speak
I found
Spanish.
that it's like a big
But it's
part
the
of game
attempt
is,
that
like,
matters.
looting.
I'm glad
So
that he's here.
what kind
First
of
Gamescom.
things should people be looking out for when they're looting?
Yeah,
This is
so
awesome. The game's gonna be
part
great.
of the game, so while we are fighting, we are losing our resources, consumables, food, ammo, and after the fight
Ooh,
finished,
what
we
did he
have
just
to
eat?
get through the dead bodies' pockets to find some ammunition, maybe loot their camp to restore what we just spent. Because without it, we just run out of ammo, and the player would be like stuck.
Because
Yeah.
that's the big thing I have. I am very trigger happy when it comes to first-person shooters. Like I fire way more
Spray and
bullets than I
pray.
should.
Spray and
and then
pray.
I found myself as well. I was like, I need to go check every building that I can because I need more ammo. Like, what kind of advice
Mutated
would you say
tuna.
for players popping into
Nom, nom, nom,
Stalker
nom, nom.
2, spend their time in the world?
So the reason why you should discover and look for some stashes in locations is not because you just want to find some items, but because it's interesting to discover this abandoned place where was some living some time ago, and there is some story behind it. And when you are just walking around and looking for the corners, and it's beautiful there, you can surprisingly find something stashed there, because it's an Stalker stashes. They use some stashes for their next journeys, because they can bring like hundreds of thousands of kilograms. They have to make some stashes for there, and players sometimes find them, and it's often rewardable, and often it's very rewardable, because you can get a huge
So stash
equipment
houses
boost
with some
by
loot.
just going to some building you didn't expect to find anything there, but it could be there.
That's what I found. I found myself like an assault rifle when I just had a pistol to start with. I was like exploring buildings and found that. But the game also, it looks amazing.
Yeah, this is the start of a next fight. The player, we have some stealth mechanics.
Yeah.
So it's not very as you used to have a stealth in the game. It doesn't offer you like ability to be invisible for enemies. No, they will see you and shoot you. But at least it allows you to get slightly closer, to find better position to start the fight, and or maybe to
Whatever
start
mode
to
they're
initiate the
playing on
fight
right
with a
now, he's
grenade.
definitely taking a lot of
uh,
damage when he gets
So
shot.
it would be easier for you, and then the fight is pretty
Because they're talking about the importance of cover and
Yeah.
tactics.
and you have to watch your hit points and your state, because you could be got bleeding, and you have to use a bandage to stop this bleeding, because it's not. It's gonna last for long, and you're gonna lose a lot of hit points if you not stop and use the bandages.
Yeah, because you have multiple ways of healing, don't you? You've
Yeah.
got like the bandages to stop the bleeding, but there's like different types of med kits that you can find
Yeah,
as well.
you can have a regular med kits, medical med kits, and an army med kit.
Yeah.
And they provide additional boosts, but mostly it's restoring the hit points. But also, if you are not in the fight and you just need to recover a small portion of health, you can just eat, and it will also bring you a small portion of hit points.
Okay,
See,
so
that's what I
lots of
loved
ways
as
to
well.
regain
I
hit
found,
points.
Like,
Good
there's
deal.
so much resource management that you have to like pay attention to in Stalker, which really gives you a different challenge.
Everything
So
I'm.
it's like
This
you
sounds
said, if
more
you
and more
don't
exciting.
eat,
More and more
you're
I
going
see.
to perform
I never
worse in
played the first
gunfights.
Stalker games.
Yeah,
It was
so
not
you
on my
have to
radar
watch
at
about
all
your state,
until
just
I
like
saw the Stalker 2
you're
previews
watching
about
about
6 months
yourself.
ago.
So we tried to bring this simulation or atmosphere as you being the real human that goes to Chornobyl exclusion
Yeah.
area with your backpack, with some food.
Their gun
and,
just fell down. That was awesome.
You just have to do the same things to survive.
Oh, and he's totally gonna pick it up.
Life, because you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to, like you fall, you broke your leg, you have to use some medkits to survive this, and that's what we are doing here.
Yeah, no.
There's also the horror element.
Honestly, like it's one of those things. I'd recommend it to anyone if you haven't had the chance to just play the original Stalker as well, because when I got to play here, you just think and approach gunfights so differently, because there is that like risk element, and some of the enemies. Like, I was jumping out of my skin because there was like a camouflaged opponent that I came across in the demo here at Gamescom. And like, can you tell us a little bit more about the enemies that we're going to face?
Yeah, so the zone is inhabited by different factions. There are factions that came from the first Stalker trilogy, and there are new factions,
Yeah.
and they have a story behind them of how they appear, what is their goals, and for the player, it would be interesting to uncover and discover these stories. And it's important to mention that from one walkthrough, the player won't know the whole story.
Oh, he just put a
So you
scope
have
on the
to have
gun.
several
That's
walkthrough
cool.
to get all these pieces together, or you could discuss it with your friend who choose some other path, and you can share the information about what you see to each other, and
Yeah.
you uncover, oh, I didn't expect that it would happen like this.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's for me, I find it should be interesting for people to discuss their experience with each other.
Yeah, we also saw just beforehand, right, we can actually see the scanner going on right now. Can
Yeah.
you talk us through this?
It's echo scanner. It's a simple scanner. You just beep, and the faster it beeps, the nearer is an artifact.
Yeah.
You can collect an artifact just by using scanner, and
Jesus, there's the
at
horror
this
element.
point,
Ah!
player faced that Bloodsucker is a canonical enemy in Stalker series. He has an ability to become invisible for player, and we found that from the feedback of the players and from what we see that
That's
he's
fucking
doing quite
terrifying.
challenging thing for the players, and but also it's very rewarding because when you start playing the game and you start facing
Now it's
some
like Witcher
challenge for
3
the first
suddenly.
time,
Like, that's
you
horrifying.
may die, second time you may die, but
Oh no.
after and after it becomes easier for you, and at some point you become master of the game. And
Yep.
everything is easy for you, but it takes time to learn the game.
This terrified me.
Spray and
honestly,
pray,
I was
spray
there
and
going
pray.
Wait, at first I was like, what's attacking me? And I was like, how do I counter this? And I was like, suddenly realized there was a camouflaged opponent attacking me.
Oh, he
It's
got
like,
it. Yeah,
I
shoot it
love
while
that
it's
in
down.
this
Make
game,
sure
though,
it's
is there
dead.
are so many
Make
tiny
sure it's
enemy,
dead.
like components. Whether you're fighting bandits, whether you're like fighting these sort of enemies.
Oh, there's a bandage.
And then I was like looting everything. I became like a loot goblin, where I was going into every building and just trying to find as many med kits so that I could stay alive.
And there is also a lot of pieces of content just near the locations. This is not a main quest. It's often not a side quest. It's just some encounters.
Sparrow
or
21 said this is the kind of game
little
where you should just
stories
buy and wear brown
to
underwear.
bring,
Yes.
You an experience of
Lovely says these reactions are why you
discovering this real
playing. This is why I
location,
can't, it's
real
called Can't Miss
zone.
TV. Thank
And
you.
it's-
Appreciate it.
It's not a fake world.
There was
it's
like half a dozen
full of
horror games
small
that
pieces.
were announced last
Yeah.
night that I'm gonna
For
have
me,
to
I
play.
find it very
And I really want to do the
interesting
new
to
Aliens
discover.
game
Even
too.
if I know the game
I know I'm gonna be
pretty
terrified.
much, still the world map is so huge. So even for me, going back to some locations make me feel, oh, I didn't expect to find it here. Oh, they bring
November 20th.
something here also. So for me, it's also like I feel the same wow effect when I discover something for me.
You really get rewarded for spending that time to look around the world and kind of try and find those caches, and it's going to pay dividends.
Yeah, it's one of the main goal in making this game is to bring as much freedom and allow player to be as he wants to be or she wants to be, to play the role they feel that works for them, and the player could like start being very rude and cruel, and they can act totally different in this game as like a player who wants to be on the friendly side. So there are a lot of freedom. It's rewarding. So even being cruel is rewarding, but there is a balance.
Yeah, the
the
key,
game will
Bubbaloni,
also
is you got to
punish you
keep
for
me
something.
from
No,
talking about
100%,
things like
and I think one
monetization
of the main
and
things
Star
is for
Wars
everyone who's
toxic
been
fandom
watching
and stuff,
and
because
wants to
I
get
always
their
end up
hands on the
offending
game.
somebody when I
When are
start
they gonna
going
get
off
to
on
play?
by tangents.
It's November.
I don't
so
mean to be
it's not so
offensive,
time-
but it's like
not so much time left.
sometimes I can be a
And,
little
for us,
abrasive
we are, like,
when I'm talking
every
about
day
things like that.
counts. We are doing everything possible to bring this as Polish gameplay as possible, and
It's like
I
stick to
hope you
gameplay,
enjoy
noob.
it.
Well,
Stop
honestly, from
talking
what I
about
played on
game
at
design and
Gamescom,
monetization.
I can't
We're
wait
only
to
here
play
to
it
watch
more.
you laugh.
But thanks so much.
Laugh,
for stopping by.
monkey
You
man,
can get
laugh.
Stalker 2 Half Chernobyl on November 20th, and of course, it launches day and date on Xbox Game Pass as well. But now to a new line.